What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. We do the NHL Roundup, NHL Rundown, whatever we're going to call it. Go back to the original days of the Power Play when it was just shoot by the seat of my pants. But anyway, let's start in Vegas. I know that's the story of the NHL right now, and they beat my Boston Bruins pretty soundly tonight, 3-1. Malcolm Subban, Bruins wave him a couple weeks ago. Vegas picks him up. Fleury gets hurt against Detroit the other night. Subban got to step up and was 30 seconds away from his first NHL shutout. Uh, Not exactly a bad week for PK's little brother. I'm happy for Malcolm. I met him once, gave him a shirt over in Logan Airport 4 years ago. Good kid. Always rooted for him. Kind of, play in the AHL in 2 games, at the NHL with the Bruins. Didn't necessarily warrant his high draft selection, but just see him go out there and play and beat his former team. You root for kids in that circumstance. And, it's voodoo addressing or assessing goaltenders because your guess is as good as mine with young players at that position. So good on the Golden Knights for giving Malcolm a chance. Again, a really good situation. Obviously, Vegas no longer undefeated, so the 72 Miami Dolphins are currently popping champagne. 4-1, lost to Detroit the other night. Really doing some great things and looking like they have the potential to be a really talented team. Losing Flower to that concussion does hurt them, but we'll see. Obviously, got some solid play out of Subban tonight. I think their forward core is nice and deep and tough to play against. So, see what happens. But definitely a really, really fun team to watch as I continue to sing their praises. Let's go from the mecca of the desert of Nevada to the tri-state area. Really a tale of three different teams in the greater New York area. Obviously, New Jersey Devils. I've talked about them, and I got shit for not talking about them. I spent 3 minutes talking about them on an 18-minute piece last week. 4-1 in the season. Them and Vegas, 2 best records in the league. Neither one's undefeated. But they're getting some great productivity throughout their lineup. I love seeing what Miles Wood is doing. I love the way Will Butcher has come on strong. I think John Hines is really getting these young guys to buy in, and the veterans in the lineup, whether it's Adam Henrique or Taylor Hall or whoever, have really stepped up to the plate and provided some great leadership and some other intangibles to a really young and exciting team in New Jersey. I mean, I can't remember the last time the Devils was exciting to watch. It's one of those things like, holy shit, you might want to tune in and watch the Devils tonight. Even when they're winning cups in the 90s and 2000s, it's like, oh great, I'm out of NyQuil. I'm just gonna watch, the Jacques Lemaire left wing trap for a couple hours, and this should knock me the fuck out. So again, just a really fun team to watch. And their young talent is amazing. Jesper Bratt, 6 points in 5 games, cooled down a bit since last week. And again, Will Butcher, 8 assists in 5 games, really rewriting the record books for rookie productivity in the early goings of a career. So I don't know what else you want me to say, Devils fans. I'm praising your team, singing your team's praises right now. So enjoy it. Then we go over to Brooklyn, where the Islanders are, they've been up and down. They've been inconsistent. Obviously, it's a big year for them with Tavares' contract up at the end of the season. They're going to show to JT that they're a team worth staying with, and I think if they had a long-term home for the future, that the ink would already be dry in the contract. But it's one of those situations. They got a lot of young talent, and it's a matter of putting all together. In fact, Jordan Elliott hasn't scored a goal in his first 5 games. Is not exactly great. We'll see what happens, with Josh Osang and guys like that. But, the Islanders are in kind of a tough spot. But, 2-1 in the season with tonight's game where they're trailing against the LA Kings. And then we'll go to Manhattan. It's not going well. 1-5 on the season. If I'm Alain Vigneault, I'm looking over my shoulder at my job security because it's not good. I thought the Rangers did a good job trying to get younger at the draft, and they did a few things pretty well. But I think they've really kind of moved themselves away from being that team that can be a thorn in the side, kind of like they were last year. And now they're just there. And Kevin Shattenkirk took less money to go there. He's been productive. Mika Zibanejad's been productive. Zuccarello, JT Miller, and then the rest of the lineup, you're like, Jesus Christ. I don't know what else you want from them. Um, but I think this is going to be a very interesting set of circumstances with the Rangers going forward, because again, they actually have infused some young talent. The first round pick this year, Shidle, played those 2 games and was back, and is doing some good things down in the AHL with Hartford. So, we'll see what happens. Again, Jimmy Vesey, no points in the season. The big get last summer. Yeah, how's that working out for you, Jimmy? So, it's a really interesting situation in New York. When you talk about New York, you got to talk about LA to balance things out. I really like what I'm seeing from the Kings early on. Watched first 2 periods of the game against the Islanders. Really playing an up-tempo system. Dustin Brown and Anze Kopitar are producing, which last year they weren't. Kopitar got that big contract, and his offense kind of dried up last season. And this year, early goings. I think he's got, counting tonight, 8 points in 5 games. That's good. It's a good start to the season. And, he's a straw that stirs the drink for that LA attack. I mean, he makes the guys around him better. He takes on the toughest defensive assignments, kills penalties, wins big face-offs. I mean, he's one of the best all-around players in the National Hockey League, and a big reason why the LA Kings have won 2 Stanley Cups since he entered the league in 2006. I kind of wrote LA off at the start of the season, but I look at the way they're playing. He looks rejuvenated. Dustin Brown looks really rejuvenated. They've got some young kids like Toffoli, like Pearson, who've shown they can produce, when the lights are bright. And they still have one of the best defensemen in the NHL, Drew Doughty. So definitely an interesting team this year to watch, and we'll see what happens. And I keep saying that like a broken record, but I like what I'm seeing from Los Angeles in the early goings. They could definitely be a team that's not going to be an easy out in the West. So the already tough Western Conference is looking a little bit tougher. Minnesota, I'm just kind of going around North America, a little North American geography for everybody. Friend of the show, Charlie Coyle, out 6 to 8 weeks, not exactly an ideal injury. Good spirits, talked to him yesterday. Nick Foligno, which Foligno brother was, got his ass kicked by Hayden out of Yale for the Blackhawks the night. Facial injury was one of the better fights you've seen. Obviously, you want to take that out of it. It was Marcus Foligno. I'm an asshole. I'm sorry to the Foligno brothers. And being so insensitive at this juncture in time. But he's hurt. Niederreiter's hurt. But in a weird way, Minnesota's so fucked with the salary cap that it's like, oh, good, now we can finally ice 4 lines, which is just better than rolling 12. What do they have, 11 forwards the other night? Not ideal. So, we'll see what's going on with Minnesota. I thought they were going to be a tougher team to play against. Hasn't been the case in the early goings, but we'll see. They've got some decent young talent themselves. Joel Eriksson looks like he can be a really effective player. Luke Cunningham got called up the other night. And, those 2 kids I think are really good, really talented, and they'll give you some youthful energy up front on a pretty, veteran team. So, that's going to be a very interesting situation to watch, because the injuries, the salary cap situation, definitely a really, in a hockey craze market to boot. So, that's the Minnesota Wild in a nutshell right now. I mean, just spitballing a few of the teams there. Toronto, believe it or not, Toronto's got some really good young talent. I don't know if you guys have heard the news, but Nylander, Marner, kid from Arizona, his name's Austin Matthews. They can play. They've got a really Mike Babcock's job. Got to be one of the funnest in the NHL, because that looks like a team that's fun to be around in terms of how they play and just their personalities. And you look at a guy like Patrick Marleau being in his late 30s, playing his whole career in San Jose and going and joining this team. He's got to help them. He had a nice goal the other night against Carey Price, and the goal Matthews had was fucking excellent. Bouncing puck, no big deal. Win the game, snap a double-digit losing streak against your most hated rival, not a big deal or anything. So that's us from Tampa. My preseason pick to go to the final out of the East, looking really good. If Steven Stamkos stays healthy, I think what we know he is, coupled with what Nikita Kucherov kind of became in his absence last year, that's going to be yeah, we'll put some goals on the board. So, again, the talent around the league is so great right now. There's really parity all around. No really awful teams. I mean, only one winless team. That's Arizona, and you kind of figured that was coming. San Jose having one win, kind of red flags there. I still think they got the talent to overcome it. Same thing with Edmonton. It's more so Edmonton. I think if you're going to tell me one team that's left with so sad that would, that was expected to do well, would end up really overhauling, I'd say San Jose. So I'd say it's been interesting, since their run to the final, 2016. It's been a lot of moving parts there, and still got that stigma of being a great team for the last, dozen years or so, and not having won it. So that's a situation to keep an eye on. But if I had to pick my first coach fired, going to Lane Vigneault. I think that market, with the way the team has looked, coupled with the fact that they've got young guys coming up, and Vigneault has never really been a fan of infusing youth in the lineup. And I think I'm not saying that was his downfall in Vancouver, because it wasn't. But definitely something to monitor. Anyway, that's all I can sort of the Power Play with CJ NHL Rundown for October 16, 2017. Stay tuned for more episodes throughout the season and beyond. Later, guys.